All right, so I'm just gonna give this a shot recording because this is what I'm gonna go over is my matches from the 2014 World's Master that was held during Jiu-Jitsu-Con at Las Vegas just recently. So I fight in the Masters 4 division, which is 46 to 50, in the light feather, which is 141.6 pounds with a gi, and purple belt. So kind of like sort of old man, but not really old man. There was 9 people in this division, and in order for the person who was going to get first place, they would have to win 3 matches, maybe 4, depending. But it was going to be 3 because there's a bracket of essentially 8 people here. So in this first match, my opponent's name is Tung Win. I believe that's how to pronounce it. And I've been working on, you know, more of a guard game, and it's just kind of my style. So I generally want to find a position where I can pull guard and get someone into my guard and start executing my game. So just what I did over here, I went for a double collar sleeve, and my goal is to bring him right into a De La Hiva, or some sort of leg entanglement from here. And once I get into here, I want to keep him off balance, so this way I can either get a sweep or get into a legitimate attacking position. Right away I went ahead and scooped up an ankle, and so from here this is where I usually kind of try and play, but he did a good job of holding my right foot down, and I'm trying to pummel my right foot out. So I swing it out and I go in both legs on the outside, which is called double outside ashi. And from here I'm just trying to control him because he's almost coming up on top of me. So you can see over here that he's doing the right things by not allowing me to stretch him out. And what I'm trying not to do is let him come on top of me. So his foot's over here. I got to clear his foot because that's preventing me from moving the way I want to. But I don't want to let go of the ankle, so I moved to a belly down position. I really don't have it a strong grip because, as if you can see, my arm is like kind of like close to my waist, and it should be a little bit up to my chest. So this is a better way to see it over here. But I have a good hold on it, but not a very strong bite. And so this is where I got to start making the adjustments on here. And so you can see my hands down here. I really need this up to my chest right now. And I kind of have them stretched out, but what I really want to do is go belly down so I can put my waist and my hip, my pressure on his leg. So with the IBJJF, I'm rolling to my right because if you roll to the left, it's considered a reap, and it's illegal from white to purple. In brown and black, you can reap go on the inside. So I'm constantly rotating out to the outside of him, so this way I don't get called for an illegal move. And then from here, he's still spiraling out, and as you can see, I'm trying to go belly down on him right here. So from this position over here, this is not a really good position for me, but I'm just trying to crush his legs so he can stop spiraling, because otherwise we can do that for the whole 5 minutes. And from here in this position over here, now I feel pretty good because I have double like elbows essentially. I'm grabbing my biceps, and his ankle is pretty much locked in here, but now it's up to me to get the right finishing mechanics. And so right now we're just a little bit, a minute and a half in to the match. Sorry, I was looking, I couldn't see the camera. And from here I'm controlling his leg. So now I have his leg, and it's kind of twisted up. His knee's bent one way and his foot's the other way. And from here, I feel pretty good about this position over here. And he steps over out of desperation, but you can see already that it's painful for him. And I actually did hear his foot pop and actually felt it. He seemed to be okay. But from there, I go ahead and get the tap. Obviously, I'm not here to hurt anyone, but at the same time, I want to get the finish, so just making sure he's okay. So this is going to be my first match, which was the quarterfinals. And then what I'm just going to do is that I'm just going to jump into my second match over here. So I'm going to go into the semifinals. Let's see here, open with VLC. This guy's named Michael Dupree. So he obviously won his first match. And so I'm just going to go ahead and skip over this. So it's going to be the same thing. I want to pull guard on here, but I got to feel him out. And I got to see what his responses are. So as soon as I go in there, I get the double collar sleeve grip, pull him down, bring him right into my De La Riva. This is the game I've really been practicing. So right now, I don't really have the good angle. So my goal right now is to not be square with him, and how this foot's far out, I want to get it deeper in, so this way I can start off balancing him a lot easier. I can do it right now, but I don't really have, I don't have the ability to use my foot all that much. So this is bad for me because he's coming up on the backside. So right away I need to switch the position, and I come back around again. So he's doing a good job of keeping close to me and keeping pressure on my foot. And what I need to do is I need to swing out a little bit more so this foot can be actually underneath him. And that's going to be a stronger De La Riva grip or De La Riva hook. And what I did for this time is that I get the same side collar because I want to bring him over to my right side, or potentially if I want to use my hooks, I want to bring him to the left side. So having the control on the edges of him make it a lot easier to do off balancing. So once I get into this position here, if you just step over for a second, you can see right here my foot on this side is already getting into the deep De La Riva. And from here now I can start off balancing him. And so what I want to do from here, now that he's in this position, I want to start entering the back. So what I did is that I reached for his belt and I actually took my right foot and I put it behind his right knee. So this will give me access to the back. And from here, you can see that I come up and I go for the back take right here. So as soon as I go for the back, I just want to secure the position, but I also want to secure the points. So I get my both hooks in. Once I get my both hooks in, my first objective is just to stabilize so he doesn't escape. But he does a good job. If somehow he gets his head underneath my arm, I don't even know how that happened, and he starts going for the escape. So because of this, I know I need to transition right away. I don't have the angle to put him back into my rear mount, so I have to go for transition. But the problem is that my leg was pinned underneath him. So I know I need to get my leg out, and I need to rotate to my left so I can swing my leg out. Otherwise, if I don't take care of that, he's just going to escape, and I potentially could come up top, but I don't want to lose a very strong position. So right here, as soon as that happens, I rotate to my left, he's coming over here. This gives me access to bring my leg out, and now I'm going to transition to an armbar from here. So I need to throw my leg over his head. As soon as that happens over here, hey, move it, guy. As soon as it happens here, he's grabbing, and so I need to just be patient and not try and force this, because if I force this, he can hitchhike out, or he potentially can come up and stack me, and then it's not going to be a good position for me. So again, I'm just trying to control the position and keep it, but he's definitely fighting out. As you can see, he put his foot on my face, but I just moved that to the side. So in here again, I go for the double elbows because I find this to be a strong position for finishing Kimuras, arm bars, footlocks. It's a pretty strong position. And he was fighting over here. He was holding his hand. He's trying to take my foot off his, my leg off his head. And so I'm just going to wind it back a little bit here over here. So in this position over here, when he's holding his double grips, I take my hand and basically try to wrist lock him to break the grips. So as soon as I break the grips, then it opens up and I can get the tap right there. So I got that just a few seconds under 1 minute. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the finals match now. This here against Patrick Klotz. That's his name. So I'm going to go back over here. Sorry about that. So it's going to be the same thing. I'm going to want to pull guard, but I'm not ambidextrous in my De La Riva game, which is something I need to work on. And I switched up my grips on this because I really want to, if I attack his right leg, so you can see over here, I'm going for the same side collar. This was a mistake on my part. I should have just stuck to my game plan that I did for round 1 and 2, for match 1 and 2, and just done the same way and make the adjustments after I get into the guard. But I was trying to avoid a step that that I felt necessary, but that obviously changed the way he came down. So that was a strategic mistake on my part. And from this over here, now he's on my left side, and most of the time a lot of people pass on my right. So this is again one of the things that I'm not good on. This would be considered my weak side, and where my hands and my feet go, I was just kind of confused, to be honest. And so, you know, we go for the fight here for a bit, but he's doing a good job. What he does is, you know, we're fighting for the unhook over here, and he knows that, but he's in a smash fast position. He's keeping his hips pressured on my knee. I'm trying to not get flattened out on my knee. And what I want to do is get his head off me right now. So I'm trying to fight for inside position, but he's doing a good job of keeping his head low, pressuring his knee, and pulling my shoulder and my elbow off the mat. So he's doing all the right things. And I'm definitely not doing the right things over here. So in this position, I'm just trying to not let him pass, but he's doing, keeping his pressure on me. You know, we go back into a little scramble again. And then again, this is like another mistake that I made is, you know, I'm grabbing collar cross over here, and I don't know why I did that, and my feet aren't just in the right position. So I'm not putting my feet on his hips. He's obviously pinning my knee, so I can't like rotate out. And so he's doing a good job, and he has a good base on here. And the fact that I'm trying to go to De La Hiva on the other leg is a problem for me, because again, this is my weak side, and I had my leg configuration wrong, and I didn't have my grips right, so I just felt really out of place on here. But you know, he was keeping the pressure on me the whole time, which was already a problem to deal with. And in this situation here, I'm just trying to get my knee back in so he won't pass, but he is able to finally pass. And once he's able to pass on here, he just basically pins me for the next 3.5 minutes. So it took him about 1.5 minutes to pass, and I'm just gonna fast forward this because nobody wants to watch this for 3 minutes. And when I get over here, there's a couple attempts that I had, but you know, he did a good job of, if you can see, he's really high, close to my head, and he's above my shoulders. So this is kind of a north-south position. And he just kind of kept transitioning between side control and north-south, and just kept me pinned really the whole time. He went for a few attacks to try to isolate my arm, but I knew that was happening, so my goal was just to keep my elbow to the ground, keep my back flat, so I wouldn't make a bad position into a worse position. And trying to keep my elbows in, so like a T-Rex. And a few times I try to invert or, you know, get my foot in, so this way I can at least turn around and put him back into my guard. But he just did a really good job of just keeping me pinned. And he ended up winning the division. He got his brown belt on the podium. You know, well deserved. He was, you know, obviously he was able to keep me pinned. And one of the problems that I had was I didn't have like a sense of urgency when I was being pinned, and I was thinking that he was going to go into mount position. And I'm pretty good from getting out of mount and going into a leg entanglement. So there's a move called kipping, and you go into a single X position, then I can go back into my game. So I was waiting for him to move because he had to come up on top if he wanted to attack, but he ended up just pinning me the whole time. So I was waiting for something that just never happened, and I think that was one of the other big mistakes. So I should have created a lot more movement when I was pinned, especially after maybe a minute of that. But you know, that's part of the learning process for me. So, you know, I definitely won't hang out over there, because in this case, patience wasn't a very good strategy. And, you know, I'll learn from this, and I'm going to make all the corrections, and I'm going to come back next year. If I'm still in purple, for certain, I'm going to come back and win this thing.